It's Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. Let's talk about it, everybody. Jaguar Wright speaks, and attorney Buzbee talks. So let's talk about what we need to talk about. And some of it, not all of it, but most of it, is dealing with the truth. Can you imagine that, everybody? That we are dealing and living and walking and trying to do the truth. My name is Dr. Lillian Coley, and I am glad to be here today to talk to you about some of the things we've been seeing in our news, so to speak. And here we are. We find ourselves once again in debacles about a whole lot of nonsense and foolishness to skirt out of the truth, to block it, to hide it, to do all the things that people do when something's wrong. Because when something's right, you ain't got to hide it, right? So we're going to go right into some videos today. And these videos are dealing with some things that are happening in the news as we speak concerning things that have been debunked about people's lives, their careers, and also just the community at large. We need to make sure that whatever we're getting out there, whatever we're talking about, is the truth. If you're a role model, I hope you act like one. I hope you be one, act like one, and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I do get it. I know there's challenges, there's roadblocks in life. Sometimes things catch up with you. And I tell you, they say facing the music is a beautiful thing. It's scary, but it's a beautiful thing. And you get more fans that way. So we want to go right into, I want to first start looking at one of the videos that kind of caught my eye and looking at all the things that are happening in the legal world, because there's a legal story and there's your story, right? In the legal story, there's been some stuff about what was happening, so forth and so on about, and we're talking about the Diddy case in regard to people coming after him because he was a black man, etc. Well, I found some information regarding that kind of debunks that. Here, you'll see on the screen is a place that was not set up for Diddy. What it was set up for predators. And nonetheless, you'll see persons on the screen there who are working at a 1-800 number for victims. Once again, can't forget about the victims, everybody. You got to understand that when stuff happens to people, especially against their will and underage, it's not their fault. And there, the perpetrators may got issues. Somebody might have did it to them. I get it. But nonetheless, we can't keep this going, right? So here on this thing, on this screen that I'm going to show you better. I'm going to make myself smaller so you can see. There is a place in Montana that was established in 2008. It was done by a man who was an activist trying to help victims have access to the judicial system. Because a lot of times victims don't have access to the judicial system because people are blocking it, stopping it, and all kinds of stuff with their money and influence. Even though we all have rights, some people have been ostracized. Some people have been, they have been abused, if you will, from the legal system because of the legal system. So here on the whatever side of the screen you're looking for, on my other side here, you see that there was a establishment or business that was set up for victims, not for just Diddy's case. It started in 2008, and the purpose of it was to get information regarding people who believe they were victims. So here we are. So this particular thing is what I wanted to show you first. Ain't going to play nothing. Just want to show you. So we're going to stop sharing. But what I do want to play is another video from Ticket TV where he gives background and information on the whole shikamic of the Diddy's case and how people also tried to say something about an attorney, Anthony Buzbee, who was helping the victims, and how folk trying to go after him. Which you victims out there, y'all need to stand up and make sure you fight against stuff that's not right. So at the end of the day, you got to rally together. Because at the end of the day, people will try to bully anybody who tries to support a victim, and support a victim. Don't get me started with that, y'all. So at the end of the day, we're going to talk about it on the other side. But here is a video, if you will. And this video is about um, a piggyback of what I just said in regard to a 1-800 number that was established by a firm that does work for victims to give them access to a judicial system. And once they go through the vetting of the information, they pass it off to an established law firm. Facts, everybody. So therefore, somebody don't just pop up and start, filing stuff. So y'all use common sense. Use common sense, and don't let anybody just tell you something because they think you don't read or you don't know no better. Don't let nobody make you look crazy, right? So at the end of the day, here we are. So I want to play this because I think this is some good information regarding educating us. And it's from Ticket TV. Y'all know he's a great blogger on YouTube. He did something about 7 hours ago, and it's about the information on Tony Buzbee. People were saying that he was a 1-800 lawyer and he did this and he did that. I mean, stop the noise, right? Stop the lies, because they're not saying that he was trying to help the victim. They're just trying to break him down on the credibility. And then some people want to talk about his suit. Well, how immature is that, right? So we want to keep the main thing, because people can talk about whatever they want to talk about to divert the truth and what's really needed to be discussed. Let's talk about what needs to be discussed, which is the truth. So let's lay it out. Lay it out, everybody. So at the end of the day, this is what I want you guys to pay attention on, because some of the stuff that's happening ain't happening. It's happening for a reason, y'all. It's happening to show you something and to let you see what you need to see with your own eyes. Nobody got to tell you. You can think for yourself. So at the end of the day, he's going to give us Ticket TV. He's going to give us some overview on this. I'm going to stop talking because I don't need to keep talking. That's for sure. I just want to make sure y'all are getting what y'all need to get so y'all can empower somebody and maybe help somebody else. And that might be in the community or somebody somebody at your church, somebody at your mosque, somebody at your synagogue. Somebody might need it, right? If we live in the country, we should probably want to benefit from the country that we live in with the rights and the Constitution thereof. Why not? While we're here, we're paying taxes. So yeah, let's go in and check this out, everybody, because it's interesting to see and really interesting to watch. Listen up, everybody.
The article went over everybody's head except for a couple people, man. And the article exposed everything with Tony Buzbee. And what you guys are about to hear in this video, well, they all were saying Tony Buzbee was a 1-800 lawyer, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have come here to tell y'all today that Tony Buzbee may have outsmarted everybody. Now, what do I mean by this? I want to show you. Tony Buzbee, when everybody saw him go up in front of that sign that said Ava Law Group, the Buzbee firm, with the 1-800 number, everybody assumed that it was Tony Buzbee that was bringing forth, and he was the one that was in charge of that number and all of these things. Ladies and gentlemen, I've come here to tell y'all today, he had active lawsuits out against Diddy, and he had a lawsuit which brought out a major name in Jay-Z, who right now he's currently in a fierce legal battle with Jay-Z. Even though the other case that he had brought against Jay-Z and Diddy, his client decided to drop with prejudice, not bringing it back up again. But Jay-Z decided to sue him, and Jay-Z decided to sue the accuser.
Why have more than 70,000 patients chosen AirSculpt to remove their stubborn fat?
It is minimally invasive.
Now, if you guys remember this, TMZ, a week ago, put out this report about Jay-Z's accuser. Now, TMZ put out this report, and if you read the report, you'll see right here, and let me put this right here. This girl claims that she, not only did she stand by her story, she doubled down on her story. She said that she let the story go because she was afraid. And that's the reason why she dismissed the story. But I want you to read this part right here, because that part right there on your screen is the most important. It says that in the TMZ article, and I'm doing this because you guys need to know this before I show you what just happened with Tony Buzbee. It says in the new documents, the girl, she reveals that she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. She says she feared she would be publicly outed and subject to public attacks. Jay-Z is now suing Buzbee and the woman, claiming that she admitted to making the whole R story up and told Tony Buzbee it was bogus before he moved on with the claims. But she says that's not the case, and Buzbee says Jay-Z's allegations are bogus. Now, that takes us to here. They've been calling this man a 1-800 lawyer. And basically, Jay-Z is suing Tony Buzbee, saying that he's the one that brought his name up, and they had a sworn statement from an investigator who claims that the girl told the investigator that it was Tony Buzbee who brought up and mentioned Jay-Z's name to bring Jay-Z into the case. They've been slamming this dude, saying he's a 1-800 lawyer. And Tony Buzbee came out and said it's all a lie. Tony Buzbee said that indeed he has evidence. He says that this girl had already made her claims. I told y'all this in a different video when Tony Buzbee made his response. I had to go look up to see what Tony was talking about. Tony Buzbee says the girl didn't come to him. The girl went to the Ava Law Group. Everybody missed it at the press conference, and I told y'all when they had that big 1-800 number, everybody says, oh, look at this, the 1-800 lawyer turned Tony Buzbee, because it was Tony Buzbee speaking at the press conference. But ladies and gentlemen, I've come here to tell y'all today, it was Tony Buzbee that was speaking at the press conference. But last night, the night before last, I should say, dropped this article right here in the New York Times. Inside the Sean Combs hotline, the makings of a mass tort. And in that article, it exposed the truth about Tony Buzbee and this whole situation with this case. And this is going to absolutely blow your socks off. When everybody saw Tony Buzbee in front of that 1-800 line, they all figured that it was Tony Buzbee that had concocted this number and got all of these people to call this number to make claims. It was wrong. Tony Buzbee may be right, you guys, about that girl not coming to him first with those allegations. Tony Buzbee says that girl went to the Ava Law Group first with allegations against Diddy and Jay-Z. And he said it was impossible that he could have put Jay-Z into it when that girl had already made her claims with the Ava Law Group about Diddy and already putting Jay-Z's name in it. And he says that's on paperwork, on record. But this article right here, last night, it told the truth. And this is going to blow the socks off of everybody watching this video. He wasn't behind that 1-800 number. He wasn't behind the hotline. He just stood up there and did the talking at the press conference because the guy who actually created the hotline and the guy who actually put all of the information out there online for everybody to see and for all the people who were making claims against Diddy and others that was around Diddy,
As an owner of Walton Goggins goggle glasses, I know how to make slick-looking goggle/glasses, but I have no...
Was that man right there, Mr. Van Arsdale. Mr. Van Arsdale founded Record Pro City Industries as a legal advertising firm. Over the past several years, it has grown into a legal call and services center with about 70 intake agents answering phones. Case in point, and this right here is going to go far. And Tony Buzbee's situation, I'm going to tell y'all why. Because now this exposed everything. It was not this man who created a 1-800 number for Diddy and the accusers. It was not Tony Buzbee. This article in the New York Times that came out explained everything. It was this man, Mr. Van Arsdale. For you guys who are still in question, Mr. Van Arsdale did this. Mr. Andrew Van Arsdale, AVA, Ava Law Firm. They were the ones, not Tony Buzbee. They were the ones. So when people said that Tony Buzbee was the 1-800 lawyer, and when they said, oh, it was Tony Buzbee that put Jay-Z's name in it, Tony Buzbee said he had proof, but the New York Times article came out 2 days ago, and a detailed article, and I will put the link in the comments for you guys to go see the entire article after this video is over with. Andrew Van Arsdale's law firm posted ads on social media, including these AI-generated images, which drew a large response after Mr. Combs was indicted. The Ava Law Group. This girl who made those allegations, she did not take her case to Tony Buzbee. She took her case to the Ava Law Firm because she clicked an ad on Facebook from the Ava Law Firm. And she took her allegations to the Ava Law Firm. The Ava Law Firm is the one who went over her allegations, supposedly vetted her, and passed the case to their associate, Tony Buzbee. But look, there's more. I clipped out portions of this article for you guys. It says, in a room full of cubicles, workers in headsets, and from their computer screens, addressing callers who dialed a 1-800 number, they have a script, quote unquote, were you or your loved one sexually abused by Sean Love Combs, known as Diddy, Puff Daddy,
my Lord,
and P. Diddy? If the abuse occurred at a party, please list the name of the party. What kind of party was it? Question mark. End quote. Their employer, Record Pro City Industries, is a legal services company located in a low-slung building in Billings, Montana, more than 2,000 miles from the Brooklyn jail where Mr. Combs awaits trial on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges. For years, the company has helped seed litigation. For years. This just didn't start with Diddy. They've been doing this 1-800 numbers, call centers, previously. People were saying, oh, they just created a 1-800 number for Diddy. No. This company been out for years, and they did a full detail on it, and it's all owned and controlled by the Ava Law Firm. And you're going to see right now, for years, the company has helped seed litigation. by fielding complaints from people hurt by natural disasters, weed killers, or abusive clergy. But it goes on. I showed you guys inserts. Reciprocal City Industries, however, did not enter the Combs case because it was approached by people who said they had been abused, according to Andrew Van Arsdale, Ava Law Group, the lawyer in charge of the company. Everybody tried to put this on Tony Buzbee and say he was a 1-800 lawyer in a cheap suit. Tony Buzbee was not the one behind the 1-800 number. And the New York Times article exposed everything. And Tony Buzbee says he was not the one who was given that case with Jay-Z's name in it. It was the Ava Law Firm, because they're the ones who ran the company, who had the 1-800 number, and they're the ones that put out those ads online for if anybody had been abused. And not only that, in this article, they also explain process they go through for litigating calls. And they took 2,600 contacts. And out of those 26,000 contracts, I should say 26,000, they only came up with a couple of hundred that were credible out of 26,000. So when everybody says, how could they go through all these cases and field all these cases? The Ava Law Group, and I'm going to show you, you guys can look this up for yourselves. You can Google it. They have 5 stars online. And every damn one of those reviews is absolutely amazing for that Ava Law Group in San Diego, California.
I want to pause right here, everybody. I think this is very telling and it's saying a lot. Now, we don't need to go through the whole shenanigans, but I think part of the reason why we do have to do this is because of false statements out there. People trying to make up stories, throw things at the wall, and deter the truth from someone who said they were a victim. Now, and from a victim standpoint, and I told people I am not a victim when it comes down to sexual victimization, but a court victimization of a legal situation. It's almost the same thing, but not quite. We got it. It's still traumatizing. But the whole point is, why do you need to hide from the truth? Why do you need to take someone who says they're a victim and beat them down so because they said they were a victim without going through the whole process? I think not going through the whole process and seeing the discovery would have been a blessing for some people. Okay, you say, well, I'm innocent and I ain't doing anything and I this, that, and the other. Well, let it go. But if you're going to keep hammering something because you don't want other stuff to come out, that's a problem, right? So I want everybody to pay attention that we are at a place in our country where we got to go through all of this just to vindicate a person who says they're a victim. I mean, this is crazy. And then the other side to it is that people we know, people we hear about, are causing or trying to make something look like something is not by spreading false information about someone who alleges to be a victim. And they want to take and go after the people who try to help them. Who's in a line of business to help people such as this, but that's a problem now. At the end of the day, you need to stay awake. This could be you. This could be your family. This could be somebody you know. There is a lot of sick people in the world, right? And I shared a story before about me and my brothers and sisters growing up without our parents and almost got into the hands of CPS. Now, CPS is not as bad as it could be, but it should be better than it is. Nonetheless, the point being, we could have been scattered as a family, separated, and human trafficked. It's only by the grace of God it didn't happen. So when I see this now, and I see stuff that happens. I know there's always a story behind the story why people do what they do and get where they are. Nonetheless, everybody, the fact that we got to go through all this piecemeal to bring the truth out, because somebody's working overtime to keep a lie going, it's crazy. And you need to take accountability as American citizen of this country and your city, your land, where you are, to make sure the truth prevails. Because it could be you. It could be somebody you know. So I just think, for me, it's like, okay, we're going through all this for the truth. At the end of the day, it's part of the culture. It's part of life when things happen that you correct it. That's called an adult problem. And when you have an adult problem, you handle it in some regards as adult. You don't worry about what somebody's wearing or not wearing, or what they're driving or not driving. Look at character. How about that, everybody? So at the end of the day, I just think this is a very telling situation. It's very telling in many retrospects or respects about where we are as a country and a people, that we got to fight for the truth to come out, because people want to hide it and bend it and break it and destroy it. It's not that deep for you to do what you're doing, unless there's something on the other side that you don't want us to see. Everybody better wake up. The citizens of this country and victims. I'm talking to victims. I don't care what kind of victim you've been, because you're a victor, but you might have started out as a victim, but you're a victor now. You have victory over your situation, but you got to remember not to bow down to the system that's corrupt. We are the system. We make the system. So at the end of the day, it's just crazy to me. To me, it's crazy. And as an activist, hearing this and seeing this, I know exactly what it is, because I can think for myself. I can read. I can understand. I can comprehend. And you can throw everything you want on the wall. And I'm thinking, why are you throwing something on the wall in the first place? What's that all about? You telling on yourself right there. It's my Godson say right there. So in the end of the day, you please, everybody, seriously, let's just keep it real, everybody. We know what this is. But when you have gotten to a point where you have this Ava law group have been designed and put in place to help victims, and then they pass it on to an attorney, and then that attorney got to go through whatever he's got to go through to litigate the truth about what his client said that was vetted, and she's still standing on her word. And then now you already know what you're saying and taking somebody to court for ain't real, but you're doing it anyway for the world to see. To see what? Is everybody looking crazy? Because they looking crazy right about now. But at anywho, I want to keep this going, y'all. I'm gonna play a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go into the next subject that we have. But come on now, come on. What are you trying to prove here? Because the bigger you are, the harder you fall. Sometimes it's just wise to sit down and do the right thing, because you can be looking kind of crazy, everybody. You can, and you don't want that. You just don't want that. But anywho, let's go back and see what Chicken TV is talking about, and then we're going to talk about it some more on the other side, everybody.
You can go look at yourself. To Google, type in Ava Law Group and click on reviews. And you will see all of the reviews from all the clients that have dealt with Ava Law Group, and they've got a ton. Tony Buzbee said that the private investigator, and he said that Jay-Z and them was basically lying on him, is what he told the TMZ. I have the quotes. When they said that it was him and suggested that it was him who brought up his name, Jay-Z's name, in that girl's case. And Tony Buzbee says he has proof. And now, the New York Times article that came out on the 9th of this month explained it all. It was not Tony Buzbee who came up with the number. It was not Tony Buzbee who put out the ad. It was only Tony Buzbee who stood at the press conference, because he had taken on some of those cases, because it was so many cases. Some were passed to him, but they didn't originally go to him. Read on the screen. Retro Pro City Industries, however, did not enter the Combs case because it was approached by people who said they had been abused, according to Andrew Van Arsdale, the lawyer in charge of the company. It entered, he said, after he noted that an explosive lawsuit had been filed by a former girlfriend of Combs and that the music mogul had settled it the next day. Predators don't just do it to one person, Mr. Van Arsdale said in an interview. They do it to many, many people. Within days, he said his firm had taken out his first social media ad asking for people about their interactions with Mr. Combs. So while everybody defamed the name of Tony Buzbee and said it was Tony Buzbee, this 1-800 lawyer that was out here taking cases and didn't have any evidence and wasn't doing any background checks, just taking cases, got daggone lies exposed to the world. Exposed. Because the one detail everybody missed, as I told y'all this before, behind Tony Buzbee was the Ava Law Group on that poster. So Tony Buzbee became the face when really he was the guy who created all of the 1-800 call number and had this whole thing with his company, Recce Pro City Industries. And I'm going to show you guys better than I can tell y'all. You can see it right here on their website. They have an official website. You can look it up. Recce Pro City Industries, who we are. Recce Pro City Industries has a legal advertising focus, and we utilize that enterprise to assist law firms with their marketing needs. It says Recce Pro City Industries is a software development company with specialist expertise in legal and television advertising and call center services. We pride ourselves on staying up to date with technological insights and advancement to provide our clients with only the best of the best scenarios. RI, Recce Pro City Industries, was founded in 2008, not created just for Sean Diddy Combs. As a small software development and legal marketing firm, and has since substantially expanded over the years to provide clients across the country. We are located in Billings, Montana, where our dedicated team ensures efficiency and quality with every project we take on. You guys can go look it up yourselves. This is the man who owns Recce Pro City Industries. He founded it. He's the one who had those 1-800 on, and he's the man, his company is the one that girl took her case to, because they say that girl found that case through a Facebook ad from the Ava Law Group. She sent her claims to the Ava Law Group.
Very important, everybody. She sent her claims to the Ava Law Group. So why are people in certain positions and at a certain level spreading false information about a victim, saying stuff to try to deter her, intimidate her, and all the stuff? Now, let me just say this. Me and my godson, Ramir Satterwhite, went through stuff similar, y'all. We were just trying to litigate something, to do what we needed to do, to exercise our rights. We had people that was following us. We had people that was trying to intimidate us. And most of this came from the attorneys, supposedly. And these were low-end attorneys, but still, you lower your standards as a person to think that somebody's not going to do something. And then that's how violence happens. That's how stuff happens. But at anywho, I hope y'all got that. Don't miss the facts, everybody, because the facts is important for you to know.
Ava Law Group allegedly vetted her claims, felt that they were credible, and along with other cases that they have shared, then forwarded to Tony Buzbee. Let's keep going. As you guys see right here, it says reciprocity, which Mr. Van Arsdale operates with a friend from high school.
Yeah, GoDaddy Arrow is so easy. AI built me a website in minutes.
A software engineer does not actually file mass tort lawsuits. It assists them by collecting and assessing complaints and turning them over to client law firms or to its own law firm, which is a separate company to litigate. Mr. Van Arsdale has been in the legal advertising business since 2006, viewing his whole career as devoted to getting people access to the justice system. He decided to become a lawyer and passed the bar in 2018, shortly after he was asked to join his first sexual abuse case, the mass tort in which the Boy Scouts organization was accused of failing to protect the youngins. Mr. Van Arsdale and his colleagues took out television spots in search of potential plaintiffs. This proves to all these liars and cappers online that this was not a target against just black men.
Absolutely not.
They asked, why haven't they gone after anybody else? They did, and you didn't know it because you thought it was owned by Tony Buzbee. It wasn't.
Know the facts.
It wasn't. Read it again. Mr. Van Arsdale, second paragraph, has been in the legal advertising business since 2006, viewing his whole career as devoted to getting people access to the justice system.
There it is.
He decided to become a lawyer and passed the bar in 2018, shortly after he was asked to join his first sexual abuse case, the mass tort in which the Boy Scouts organization was accused of failing to protect, you know what?
Children.
Mr. Van Arsdale, the Ava law firm, and his colleagues took out TV spots in search of potential plaintiffs, and I quote, "It took 3 weeks of ads to even get the first case," he said. As the calls and the cases rolled in, Mr. Van Arsdale hired more staff. Today, Reciprocity employs roughly 70 employees to answer the phones 24/7 and more than 30 others to further develop potential cases. He's got 100 people working. So when people said, oh, how they can't vet those cases, how can one guy vet those cases? This man got a whole company
Devoted for
with
victims.
100 employees dedicated to this.
Yes.
And Jim, I would not talk too quick. I would not talk too quick, Jim. You guys need to stop saying all these things and just sit back and watch the play. Because you're going to come back and regret a lot of things that people are saying. I'm going to say this again. That's the same thing they did to Tony Buzbee. Called him an ambulance chaser, talked all this shit. They didn't even know. They didn't even know.
So I think this is a good place to stop. Let me just make sure. Hold on a second here. Yep. I think this is a good place to stop, everybody. We did a nice little piece there, and I wanted to make sure it was very, 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 very clear. He had over and again, because I'm about the victims. I'm about people searching for the truth. And sometimes, like this man from Ava Law Firm, felt the need to go into this profession to help people who are vulnerable have access to the judicial system, as I said earlier. Because the reason why is because a lot of times they're afraid, they don't have money, they don't have resources, etc. But he felt the need to do what he did, and he needs to be commended. He needs to be commended. So at the end of the day, when you find people attacking the advocates and as well as the victims, Usually, not all the time, but usually there's something they are trying to hide. Because being in certain professions opens you up to certain things. I'm not saying everything people do to certain people is not right or wrong. It depends on who's saying it. But sometimes certain professions, you open yourself up to things that could happen or be asked of you, or somebody saw you or whatever. And it could be true. And then some people think they can just get away with everything. That's another problem. But at the end of the day, we find here that the Ava law firm was a big part of the whole vetting of Jane Doe as it relates to Diddy and Jay-Z's case. And because she was vetted by people before it got to where it needed to be, the all this theory and stuff about somebody adding somebody and taking their name away and all this stuff is debunked. It's called the false statement. It's untrue. But for somebody to take the time to go through the legal process, say, I'm going to teach you a lesson, to me, it's very, very, very telling. But anywho, this is the world we live in. This is what it's come to when it comes down to the truth. Some people want to ride the backs of the big lie. The big lie, everybody. So at the end of the day, you need to make sure you educate yourself and help yourself. And those who are watching, please, please, please share the information. Like the information. If you like it, give comments. Let's talk about it. Let's have a healthy adult conversation so that we can better the community in which we live. All right? That's what I want to talk about. And the other topic is Jaguar Wright. We started talking a little bit about her yesterday because of some stuff that had happened in regard to her being a part of a litigation or a case where it appeared that her name was being thrown around and used to help muddle the waters, to make the case look muddled. Well, we're going to come against all that in the name of Jesus. Yeah, we are. I said his name. We're going to come against it. We want the truth to prevail, not using people to just try to muddle the water and make the bigger narrative look bad. We curse that. So whatever people are trying to do, we ask God to let it crash and burn. Right? That's what we're asking. So I wanted to play something else regarding her, because I thought that she would be another good addition to our story here for us to talk about and to see how anybody could become a victim. You could become a victim. Yeah, you can. So we see that there's a little thing that's coming up with people and situations and all this other kind of stuff, which I think is kind of crazy. But I realized too that we gotta check out what we need to check out, everybody. And sometimes the stuff that we're looking at and things that we're doing ain't right. So at the end of the day, I wanted to bring up here, I'm just trying to bring in here one of the slides. I don't know what happened here to the screen, but I guess that does happen at the end of the day. I'm going to see how it turns. Okay. All right. It lets me bring things in. Okay. All right. So I was bringing up a file, and I wanted to say a little bit about why we picked this thumbnail. The thumbnail, I don't know if you see it on the screen or not. It may come up. Here we go. Let me see. I really wanted to go the other way, but it doesn't do what I wanted to do. Nope. But at any rate, here we are. I just wanted to show why we picked this thumbnail. The thumbnail was picked because we need to unleash the truth. Be a truthful person, everybody. Don't live in perpetration of a fraud, because people don't have no respect for you. Live in the truth, because the truth shows its true colors all the time. Just keep living. You'll see. And no matter what you do, there's people out there who are advocates for the truth and for whatever subject you're dealing with. Whether it's be a subject over here or something, you can find an advocate for everything. And people have their own reasons why they went down that road. But the whole point is you need to be conscious of the truth. Let the truth speak for itself. So here we have, I'm going to do Jasmine, or Jaguar rather. I'm going to do her video because I feel it's important to share what's been going on in her situation. Because, I mean, if her name is being used to muddle the water, if you will, and do what people do, that ain't good. So, and I think that is horrible, actually. And we need to address it. We need to make sure we understand that we can't have that in the community. We can't have that in our judicial system, that people's names are just thrown around like a piece of whatever. But at the end of the day, let's just hear what she has to say about the situation, because she has some words she wants to say in that regard.
But I consider that there's two lawsuits. The second lawsuit is, for me, pure BS. Because that second lawsuit was basically put in place only to show that you were there.
Well, Maggie, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. You know, I'm in travel,
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't had much reception out here. Climbing a mountain today.
No, nice.
I love climbing mountains. When you can climb up on the side of a mountain and stand on top, you can look down and see how small everything else is.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes when I'm up there, I feel just as big as that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look down at everything and how small it is. So I don't know what's going on. You know, I came in, I modded for as long as I had reception.
I thought
And
it was
then,
a little too dark.
you know, somebody, you would ask, did anybody know about the suit? And I put a 0 because I don't know nothing. So I was just wondering,
Mm-hmm.
I got mentioned in this case at the end.
Yeah.
At the end.
And the second lawsuit, nothing.
this is-
Ashley Burnham never mentioned you.
Yeah, well, that would be crazy. I've never met her.
And you were kind of busy being in prison.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. I ain't speaking.
I have 12 emails, 30 messages, and a proposal due by 10. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the
Black. They said she know. The white owl. I call her the white owl. That's my butt. She knows she.
Or in jail. I don't know which one it is.
Well, what time did they say I was doing these terrible things?
March 23, 2018.
You know what? I want to do something different. You know, because people are always looking at stuff, but they don't ever really look at stuff. Let's look at my Instagram. Now, it's been a few years. It's probably going to take me a second to scroll. I got I got it over 3,000 somehow, folks. You know, that's what people don't understand about my Instagram.
My bad. I had the volume down. I said, hey, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. And then I said, Maggie. I ain't speaking to you, Maggie. I'm not speaking to you. Because Maggie is, she's not black. That's what they said. She's not black. Call her the white owl. She's not the black owl. That's my
when
buddy.
I started
Y'all
it,
know
I
that's my
decided
buddy.
to turn it into my personal diary and log. And I grabbed everything that was relevant and I posted it up. Oh, that's when mother passed away. Now let me see. Let me go back here. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. This is Gary at church. So this was not long after I got out of. Okay. Yeah, because see, the reason why it's easy for me to pull what I did. Oh, baby, look at that first meme that I did of Diddy. My first Diddy diss meme with him with the little skinny board dancing. Damn, I've been going at Diddy a long time, haven't I? It took us this long to get him in jail. Okay, well, if I'm seeing my ex-husband, I still haven't gone back fast enough because we didn't meet until the end of 2018 and we got married January 6th, which is, of course, the insurrection 2019. But before then, damn, I forgot how thin I was when I was training. I gotta get back to training full time, man. Cause when I train, I am a beast. Oh, this is when I called Christopher Williams out for allegedly giving Diddy a BJ for a demo deal.
Girl, we can't see what you talking about. Get to the
Okay, we're getting close. This is
Jaguar. We
exposure.
can't see what
Oh,
you
that's
talking
me and
about.
Sandaga. All right, I can
Look at
still see my
Stephanie. Stephanie.
ex-husbands. Hold on. Wait
Shout
a
out to
minute, let's
Jaguar,
go back.
y'all.
Let's go back.
These my girls.
Wow.
These
I
my
was still
girls right
posting
here.
to me before he was
Thick and
stupid
thin.
enough
Damn it.
to let that witch, my cousin Erica Badu, deliver him and Fat Baby. Oh, the first time I posted the Millie Jack, my blonde era when that witch dyed my
She
hair.
reminiscing like
Maddie.
shit.
I loved her so. I really did.
Jaguar
Oh,
reminiscing
wow,
like
my
a champ.
ex-girlfriend when she came to Dallas. Oh, jealous. Gerald was so jealous of her that night. She didn't want to pay him no mind. Can't you
Hey,
just be glad you got in for free? She said.
y'all do Uncle
Okay,
Mike a
this was
favor.
before me and Gerald.
Y'all
All
do
right,
Uncle
I'm
Mike a
getting
favor.
there. I'm getting there.
Y'all do Uncle Mike a favor and go to Maggie's
Okay, that was
channel and
Auntie
subscribe.
Jennifer Lewis, so that was around the time
Go to
of,
shit.
oh, now there it
Hey,
is.
Golden Queen
That's
H.
Giovanni.
Hey.
So this is when Giovanni passed away. Look at me and Trent.
Golden Queen H. Hey.
Oh, yeah, this is when Giovanni passed. That was September. See, that's me, my mom, and my dad, baby. At the Gerald concert I was telling you about. That was the last show my daddy could walk.
Jaguar, we
The
cannot
next
see what
time
you
we
talking
brought him, we had to
about.
get the wheelchair, but that's it
And
when he
yes,
came.
people, that document is real.
So let's see.
Yeah, the document.
So I'm going to stop this and do another one because one, she's doing a lot of the talking stuff, as you can see. The other thing, I was trying to get the meat of it, and the other guy, between her talking and him, it's a bit much for me. So I'm going to go to the next one because I did find the video. I did find her video. Let me see what I did with it. Here it is here. Put it over here. I just wanted you guys to see and hear some of it. I just wanted y'all to hear and see. I'm gonna skip around because I was just basically trying to let you hear it from her, the horse's mouth, that she didn't know what was going on. And then of course she's going back looking through her Instagram at this point, trying to let everybody know that she was in jail during that time. And I guess the thing that hurts the most about this is that false witness. They say false in one thing, false in everything. So when people start telling stuff that's not true, it can be quite traumatizing. Again, my own experiences, because the court is nothing. It's not really something you want to. It's not something you want to go into. You're not trying to go into the court because a court proceeding and court things, these things can change your life, and not always for the better. So people take it seriously. It's like don't start making up no stories about stuff about my life and stuff, because that's not good, y'all. So let's just see. I'm gonna skip around. I'm gonna play a little bit from the beginning just so you can hear without the guy talking, and then I'm gonna skip around so she can get to the point, because I'm trying to let you hear it from her about what she felt like. And because some point she kind of broke down a little bit, because she was like how hurtful that could be, that somebody got real problems maybe for a victim, and that they're trying to use other people to slander them, maybe possibly, and how that indirect use of a person or abuse of a person to hurt another person is hurtful. It's hurtful, it's sad, and it's just downright wrong. But at the end of the day, it's not like hearing it from the horse's mouth. So that's what I was trying to get y'all to hear. So here we go.
Jag!
Hey,
Hello.
how y'all doing?
Do it
Did you hear
already.
my breakdown? I think I broke the brain of a lot of people.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you're a smart girl, Maggie. I'm sure you can help them put it all back together again.
So yeah, basically I showed that the first lawsuit, because I consider that there is two lawsuits and that one lawsuit. I don't know if everyone agrees with me, but I consider that there is two lawsuits. The second lawsuit is for me pure BS. Because that second lawsuit was basically put in place only to show that you were there.
Well, Maggie, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I'm in travel,
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't had much reception out here. Climbing a mountain today.
No, nice.
I love climbing mountain. When you can climb up on the side of a mountain and stand on top, you can look down and see how small everything else is.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes when I'm up there, I feel just as big as that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look down at everything and how small it is. So I don't know what's going on. I came in, I modded for as long as I had reception. And then, somebody you would ask, did anybody know about the suit? And I put a 0 because I don't know nothing. So I was just wondering,
Mm-hmm.
I got mentioned in this case at the end,
Yeah.
end.
And the
That's
second
right.
lawsuit, not
And
in
this is,
Ashley Burnham never mentioned you.
yeah, well, that would be crazy. I've never met her.
And you
Mm.
were kind of busy being in prison or in jail. I don't know which one it is.
Well, what time did they say I was doing these terrible things?
March 23, 2018.
You know what? I want to do something different. Because people are always looking at stuff, but they don't ever really look at stuff. Let's look at my Instagram. Let's see. Yeah, this is when Giovanni. Remember, you have friends, family who love you. Do you? And then the card says,
Thank you,
remember,
Donut, again. Look, chat, are you not embarrassed? Donut is giving more money. Are you not embarrassed?
Donut's giving money?
Yep.
Tell him give some more. Now, it says, remember, this too shall pass. Painfully like a kidney stone, but it will pass.
Hey, Clean. Instead of focusing on small clients or serving individual consumers, you actually want.
That
Does
came
this?
from Nicole Allen, who pretended, and I put here, so big day, Monday, and prepping for the final showdown in Chirac, because that's where I was in jail. These are a few of the things that kept me steady and focused. My
Don't
friends are
insult
all
Donut giving me $2. Where is the other
thanks,
super chat?
girls. Love you all forever. Okay, now what's this? That's April 21st. Ingrid B. Thank you. All the thank you. My thank you posts for everybody who donated to get me out of jail. April 23rd. Recap. I love my son. I'm his mother. Does anything else matter? Not really. Yeah, no regrets. Me talking about coming out of jail. Now this, oh, here we go. Here we go. April 23rd, 2018. Me. That's when my charges was dismissed. That's when it was. I know it was right before my birthday. That was April 2018. And me having all my charges dismissed, Andre Turner's titty. I wasn't convicted of anything. I've never been to prison for anything. Just like Cat Williams, all I do is beat felonies. Now, okay?
And thank you, Angel. Thank you for the super
Now,
chat.
wait a second. When did you say they
Make
said
it
I
rain,
was...
make it rain. Listen, don't insult the $2 of Donut, okay? A super chat is a super chat. I am poor.
Oh, no, I'm still going in the wrong direction. When did they say I was doing what I was doing?
March 23rd,
March
2018.
March 23rd, 2018. March 26th, 2018. March 26th, March 24th, March 24th, March 24th, March 23rd. Yeah, see, this is when it got real. Okay, so look at this. This is when they were posting for me all of the t-shirts. Can y'all see?
We see
Yeah.
Cash Patel.
From March 23rd, they were still posting for people to buy my t-shirts to raise money for me because I was still in jail.
No,
Let me
Jag,
see.
you were transporting people.
No, I was in jail. I was in Cook County Jail.
So
Yeah,
you
see,
didn't dig no tunnels.
all of my posts, they were done by Ingrid B while I was in jail. And it's just, oh, things are not okay, but that's okay. They will be. Please keep Jaguar in your prayers. She does not have access to her social media.
Gotta thank goodness for technology, honey.
I'm just saying, this was posted by the people that I found out later were my handlers.
Wow.
Ingrid B, who was sleeping with my ex-boyfriend Tariq Trotter from The Roots, also known as Black Thought, and Nicole Allen, who was friends with my cousin whose house I was staying in when Danny Robertson and them swatted me August 10th, 2023. That's who set this post up. Let's see. Yeah, and yeah, February 10th, my friends were posting for me while I was in Cook County Jail. They posted a copy of my book, please buy her book. And guess what? The last post before that with me in it was me right before I was rearrested on Christmas Eve.
Wow. Well,
I was shouting out my girl Mickey Miller from Chicago. It's a shame she couldn't come visit me while I was in jail, but she was on tour. So yeah, December 22nd, 2017 was the last post of me before I went into jail at Dallas County Lusterid. I was extradited to Chicago January 7th. I was held in the Tombs at the police station while they was trying to force me to take a deal, and I said no, take me to trial, take me to jail. Then I booked into Cook County on the 11th of January, 2018, and I was there until I was released in April.
wow. I can't wait till they have to.
No. When did they say I was doing what they said I was doing?
March 23rd.
Well, March 23rd, if you go and look at my Instagram, you can see that my friends were still posting. More importantly than that, even if I wanted to say that I was setting all of this stuff up from jail in Chicago, all of those phone calls would be recorded.
Yep.
I was in jail.
What?
So I'm trying to figure it out. Ariel Kidd decided to amend the only real Diddy victim she's working with. Because all the rest of them are fake frauds and phonies. Adria English, she Diddy. Courtney Burgess, Chris Todd, Lamisha Fuller, Matt Cox. I'm just saying. I thought you said you was a smart attorney, Ariel. I thought you said you study all of Martin Luther King's speeches and you're so smart and so articulate and you spend so much time giving us your resume. The only thing you didn't tell us is how many times does Mr. Carter tag your ass in a month? Cause see, I know you was hoe. You act just as entitled as Dream Hampton. Why don't you call her and ask her what it's like living in the Jigga Man's closet?
Yep.
See, I knew you was his hoe. I called out your stylist and your makeup from jump. He picked the same person he picks for all his girls. I'm just trying to figure out, like, did you say Geronimo before you jumped off the cliff and did this?
Okay. I think that's a good place to stop, everybody. I appreciate the young ladies doing a truthful podcast and getting information out. And that was the purpose of me going there. I don't want to go too far down roads that I don't want to go. I want to keep the main thing, and us to focus on what we need and should be doing with our time. At any rate, I just wanted you to hear from the horse's mouth that sometimes people can become victims of circumstances and situations, and quite frankly, lies. And I'm coming to you from this podcast, Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil, as a victim, but I have been I have victory in this the victimization I had experienced with the court and the hands of people who were considered to be defendants and attorneys. It wasn't just the court; it was a whole conglomeration, and what I believe that occurred in my life. And I only can talk about what I've been through and how me and my family suffered, and how I had to deal with the lies and the backbiting and the following and all the demonic things I call them, but we'll call them crazy for the sake of this podcast, that I had experienced because I was in the court system trying to do the court stuff. Still trying to get justice for what we believe we should have justice for. And it's not no baby daddy, y'all. So at the end of the day, I believe you are going to see for yourself the truth as the truth prevails in your life, in your home, and in your community. So today we went over, first and foremost, over the Buzbee stuff, because the Buzbee stuff is big stuff, y'all. It's big stuff because you have a victim, a person who called a 1-800 number, identify who she believed her accusers were. She was vetted and researched and all that what they had to do with that law firm called Ava Law Firm. Then the Ava Law Firm passed it on to attorney Buzbee, who did what he does in his line of business, which is to advocate for his clients. So we talked about that. You saw the truth. You saw what happened. It's there. And then we went over to Jaguar, dealing with her situation and how it appears that there may be some hanky-panky going on with people trying to use her name and all that to make something more than what it is in order to distort the truth and hopefully taint the jury pool, but that ain't gonna happen, or either try to just confuse the facts. Thank God for people who can think for themselves. The street stuff ain't working no more. People done caught up and they got technology, and most of them can read. If they don't know how to read, they'll go to somebody who can. People just ain't that gullible. Now, if you want to pay everybody off, okay, fine. Some people will be paid off for whatever they got to be paid off for because they need the money, they want the money, and that's all that matters to them is the money. But there's some people who have what they call self-worth, self-identity. And they want to portray that in their everyday lives and what they do and say. And they also want to pass it on to their kids. Imagine that, everybody. Imagine passing on the truthfulness, not being a liar, not being a thief, not being somebody who hides and blocks the truth and does bad things. Other people will order somebody else to do it. Imagine that. And you take it and you teach your children right. Do you? So I just think some of this stuff that's happening it's crazy to me. But at anywho, I wanted to get on to talk about what we needed to talk about. So you can be informed, you can be empowered, and you can be ready. So there was one other video I wanted to do, but I'm not sure where it is. So I might not be able to play it, but I wanted to get you guys in on some of the articles and stuff that was out there. Because there were some articles too about, it was the New York Times. The New York Times did this beautiful article on timeline, and they wanted people, I guess, to see the truth and run with it. So they did some things, and when they did some things, people actually went back and looked at it, and they talked about what they talked about. I wanted to let you see it. They like to put so many things on your screen before you even look at anything. But I wanted you all to look at. I'm gonna put this I'm going to put it in the chat, but I want you all to see this because this is another good article to look at. They have a lot of good people at the New York Times, like I do in a lot of other places, who vet things. And some of the stuff they vet is what they vet the truth and hopefully search it out, which is what we believe, to they find what they find. Now, sometimes there's always a little something going on. But they said inside the Steen Combs hotline, and they give you the making of a mass tort claim. Because sometimes when somebody's been doing wrong for so long and with so many people, that's why you can get to a high number. I think that Ticket TV kind of showed a pretty good illustration. They said 26,000 calls came in. I don't know over what period of time. 26,000, right? They only dealing with 100, about 160, something like that, 106, some number like that. The whole thing is, when you are dealing with fraud, it takes a whole conglomeration of people to help you do it. You don't just do it it don't be done by itself. Like in our case, we for sure had the courts, the court staff, the judges, all working together along with the clients and the attorneys of the defendant. In some cases, even when I once had an attorney as a plaintiff, my attorney was paid as well by the defendants. So he said. So at the end of the day, corruption can go pretty high and deep. And when you start talking about it, especially in the criminal aspect, some people get scared because they don't want to go to jail. Now you're dealing with civil matters now. So people ain't got to go missing, I guess. But even then, their reputations and what they have done is finding them out. It's speaking for itself. But I challenge you as a watcher, I challenge you as a citizen, as a person, to go and look at some of the information that the New York Times have put in this article to give you an inside glimpse of what a hotline looks like, not just for Diddy, but anybody who finds themselves in a line of business, if you will, to destroy somebody else's life from violations, whether they are drinking something and don't know what they're at, or they're underage and can't consent, that you can go look and see what some people who is advocates, they probably was victims too, some of them, are trying to do to prevent somebody else from becoming another victim. And then I know there is a deeper call, a deeper situation where you need to go to the perpetrators, the ones who are doing this, and get them revived, revitalized, and what they call rehabbed, so that they won't keep this going on. Jail is good. That ain't the only remedy, because some of them gonna get out. Not everybody. And then we got to pray. And I'm just thankful for the prevention part for me and my family. Prevention, y'all. Could have been that way, but it wasn't. But it could have been. So this whole session was to educate you with information, because information brings revelation. Be informed, be empowered, know what you know. Because when you know better, you do better. And when you know better, you talk better. And you can better educate yourself on what is going on in your house, your community, in your home. And you don't have to worry about nobody else, because it don't matter, y'all. So be encouraged, everybody. I just wanted to come on and talk about what we needed to talk about to keep us connected, so that we could keep connected and talk about the things that matter in our community, which is our children, people we love, and people that are going through very hard times, and you want them so bad to overcome. And you know they can. They can try, they can cross the street from being a victim to a victor. Having victory over the circumstance in the situation. We call it a victory over the enemy in church. So be encouraged, everybody. Seek out the truth, know the truth, love the truth, and walk in the truth. This is Dr. Lily M. Coley. I am glad to be back with you all. I'm just glad to be a part of this whole dynamics of what's going on. And the reason why I'm glad is because I get a chance to help somebody. Really, y'all, it's really about helping somebody help themselves so that we all as citizens can make it through this place called life. That's what this is about. And I want the truth unleashed. I want the true colors of the truth to be, with the lies to be debunked. So we have to see it. We got to believe it, and we got to walk in it. So we can't keep acting like it ain't there. It's there. So the truth is the truth. And the truth is the only thing that will set us free. It will set you free. It'll set me free. We're going to be free. And you don't have to worry about anybody trying to take the truth from you, because you know the truth will set you free. Be encouraged, everybody. Be encouraged, be encouraged, be encouraged as we look forward to walking this journey together to help people. We know their names and some we don't. It don't matter. But we're trying to do the right thing, because the right thing is always a right thing to do. It's a good thing. This is Dr. Lily M. Coley, and this is Keeping It Real with Dr. Lil. I'll be signing out, and I hope to see you on our next broadcast podcast that we can talk and discuss and share on how we can empower each other, empower ourselves, and empower the world. God bless you all. Bye, everybody.